Hi everyone, this is Erin from Sandpaper Road, and today I'm sharing with you a little mini tutorial for a chipboard mini album that I made with the ominous Marshes paper collection. Before I show you the inside of the album, I just want to encourage you to subscribe to Sandpaper Road. I really appreciate all my subscribers. And so here's a look inside. Everything is from the ominous Marshes paper collection, and I love this paper. I love this album. This was actually from an old chipboard album that I had in my stash. Seriously. And I just used whatever I wanted, however I wanted, did whatever I wanted. It wasn't for anything. It wasn't to give as a gift. It wasn't, I could, but it wasn't for me to put a bunch of photos in. I could, but it's literally just my playtime. I used a bunch of, look, like there, I could put a photo in there if I wanted to. And it's got a magnet closure. There's decorative cards, junk journal elements, fussy cut elements, fibers. I love the chipboard. I love those little tickets so much. Look at that. Look how it says wings and then stuff comes out from behind the belly band with the butterfly. And then there's a little pocket. I didn't do much except have fun. What I didn't do much is I didn't create like a bunch of these pockets and things. I'm going to show you what I did here. Look at the fibers. That's just from my stash. I think they look great. I had this chipboard mini album. I think it's like Tattered Angels or something. And it had these two eyelets already in them. Like that's how it came. So I knew that was the front and the back. And then I had this paper collection that I wanted to play with. And so really, as you're watching this video, the video isn't necessarily like how I did each and every page step by step. Because honestly, it's just a matter, I'm not trying to be funny, but it's just a matter of covering it with paper. Seriously. So I'll show you like the basics of what I did, and then everything else is just kind of derived from that. The 6x6 paper pack, I was trying to see if that was like going to be the way I was going to go with it, or if I was going to use the 8x8. So I ended up using just sort of a combination of actually the 6x6, the 8x8, and the 12x12, just in different ways. This was probably the most thought out part of the process, was the covering of the album with the paper, which all I did was trace. And then when I cut it out, you have to make sure to cut inside the line instead of outside the line, because you need it to be just a hair smaller than your traced line. So you'll see that I did not do that this time. I was just like do-de-do and just cutting away. I had something, I'm sure I had a movie on or something. And I realized later, I had to go back later and trim it again inside the line. So yeah, word to the wise. Just see how I'm trimming outside that trace line. Yeah, don't do that. You'll see I'll show you coming up how I trim it inside the line. So this was after I fixed it, and then I just used my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive glue, or whatever glue you have is fine. You could use double-sided tape, but for this I preferred the liquid glue because I could really burnish it down. And this was something I really wanted to stay forever, and not just come up at all, ever. So yeah, that's how I covered the one side. And then I used the hole punch part of my Crocodile to just get the paper punched through those holes that already existed. I do advise that if you have any chipboard albums in your stash, you do that along the way, each page at a time. Now here's another page that I did, and you can see I'm taking my time to cut inside the line, you see. And it's just the tiniest difference, but it saves you from doing double work is really all it is. And I shouldn't even call it work because I had the greatest time. So I got my holes punched already, and I'm just working on, at this point, just covering all of the pages. I do spend time, like mental time in my mind, trying to decide, like, do I want a light paper next to a dark paper? Like, what do I want it to look like as I'm paging through the album? And this is probably the most thought part of the project that I do. But I just love how it's, like, I'm so tactile, so I just love how, like, once it's on the chipboard and, like, all smoothed out, just the way it feels, like, so smooth, the paper, like, all glued, you know? So you're burnishing it down, and then when you touch the paper as you're turning the chipboard pages, I know it sounds so corny, but that's just, I just love it. So that's pretty much how the beginning of the process goes. You can see those are the pages that are not yet done, obviously, and I just took some time, and now here's what it looked like when the pages themselves were just all covered. You could see I took some time to make sure it looked like nice as you were paging through it. Now, the outside edges, once you do this step, they're kind of funny, like you can feel the edge of the paper. So what I did was I just distressed the edges of every single page on both sides. You can use open-ended scissors, or you can use a nail file or sandpaper, or however you like to distress your pages. Once I got that all done, which you can see in the upper right corner there, they all have that nice white edge and they're smooth to the touch. Now, this is one of the envelopes that comes in the junk journal set, and I do like that. I mean, all you literally have to do is cut it out with scissors and then score and fold. So that's why I'm not really showing you, like, as the video goes on, you won't see me like create these envelopes because I didn't create them. I just cut them out. And there's not a lot of creation going on here. Not like when I make a mini album or something from scratch where, you know, you're doing like hinge binding and all that stuff, which I did not have to do here. Or like if I was making like flip flaps or, you know, waterfall pages or all that. You're doing all that from scratch. And here I was just playing. So there's not a whole lot of creation. I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. It's just decorating. That's what I'm trying to say. It's just decorating. And anybody, whether you're a beginner or whether you've been crafting for years, anybody can decorate a chipboard album. Anybody. Just do it for how it looks good to you. Now this, I decided to put the envelope or this little, I guess it's a library pocket more or less. I decided to put it on some craft cardstock before I put it in my chipboard album, because the pattern is a bit busy, which I don't mind, but I don't want it to just look like a whole bunch of busy on busy. I'd like you to be able to see a little bit of definition in certain places here or there. What's going to go inside the pocket? I don't know. None of the pre-cut things that came with the kit fit perfectly, so I decided to make my own tag. So this is a tissue box top, which I love to do projects with tissue box top. As a matter of fact, I have a video, I have a few actually, using tissue box tops to make tags. So I can link down to those below, or so that you could check those out. But anyhow, now I'm just playing with some leaves and some fussy cut elements and all kinds of things. Those are all from the extra set, and some of them I fussy cut out just during times of watching TV or whatever, and some of them I used my brother Scan and Cut to cut out for me in case I was feeling a little lazy. So yeah, this is, again, I'm focusing just on this first page in the video because everything else is just versions of this. It's either taking a pocket or taking an element that was already pre-printed and mounting it onto cardstock and putting it in the album. Maybe I'm gluing a few little embellishments on the sides or underneath. I used some chipboard quotes, which I know you saw. And actually, I know that the walkthrough of the album at the beginning of the video was probably a little bit fast. But I have close-ups that I will share over on my blog, so you can head over there, and there is a link in the description box where you can go. It's at sandpaperroad.com, but the link that I'm providing will go directly to the blog post that goes with this project. So I use a combination of liquid glue and hot glue and just placing some little decorative elements. And as you can see, I've got the pages laid out like how they will be when the album is opening and closing and things. And don't ask me why I wanted to use this tissue box top to make a tag. I mean, really the only answer is I so wanted something to like stick out of the album to just create interest. And I wanted it to stick out of the side in such a way that you could see it when the album was completely closed. So everything from here on out is creating this little tag. And I left this in the video because, like I said, everything else that I do to create this album is just a version of this. I'm either covering something to create my own little tag, or I'm gluing down an embellishment, or I'm mounting a pocket or something with some craft cardstock, and just enjoying the afternoon. Honestly, I've got some music on, or just watching something on TV, just sort of just enjoying it. This is a little sanding block. I took it from my husband's tool thing. Or he said, like, here, do you need this? Do I need this? Of course I need it. Combining that with the nail file just to get a good distressed edge. Once you do something, I will say this, once you do something in one part of the album, look forward to doing that same thing throughout the album. So like if I'm going to distress all the edges around my entire album, make sure I do it to all the pages. But if I'm not, then probably not. Of course, it's your album. You can do it however you want, but I just find that for the overall look of the album, that consistency does make a little bit of a difference. I almost had a little boo-boo there. See that little, that's actually a scrap of the paper from when I was tracing and covering the album, and I thought it looked so good. It looks like I did all kind of weathering and painting and stuff like that, and I didn't. It's just the pattern paper. So this was a really easy and fun album to create. I really hope that you can delve into your paper collections, or if you pick up this one, that you can just get comfortable and just enjoy playing with the paper. And if you're a paper person, I know you know what that means, but just playing with it. I don't know why it's so much fun to just touch and play with paper. And the fun part about an album like this is that I'm not trying to, it's like a break from making like a specific album for a specific reason, or a specific scrapbook layout for a specific event or something like that. So it's just a break. It's just a nice little break. So yeah, I'm covering the tag both sides. Just no specific inches or whatever. I'm just eyeballing the measurements and cutting out and covering it up. Now this paper collection is by Craft a Clock, and it's made in Poland, and it's really, really nice, really sturdy, nice scrapbooking paper. Good for card making, scrapbooking, mixed media. It can take paint and stenciling and things like that. So yeah, definitely check it out. This is a great collection. Starting like in, it's got some pumpkins in the extra set, and some owls and black cats and magical type things. So if you're a seasonal type crafter where you like to make certain things for certain seasons, this would be great for like your Halloween cards, or your fall type projects or whatever, if you're into that kind of thing. I just like it. I like that it's like sort of dark, and I mean, ominous is the perfect word for it. I know I've probably said that before, but that's a little trick I like to do. We use the little, did you see that? Using the circle punch there for, to get that rounded inside. And, Yeah, I like to do that. I should have done that before, but I thought of it about halfway, which is why I left it in the video. So yeah, before I go to do something, what am I going to do here? This is another way you can sand the edges. That's also why I left this in the video. I'm just trying to leave in stuff that I think you would find beneficial. So see how I just put it along the edge of, you could do this along the edge of your table, putting it up along the edge and then just sanding down, like with a downward motion. And it takes less effort on your wrist and hands. So if you're the type of person that your wrist and hands are sort of, I don't know, they can be compromised maybe often after doing a lot of crafting. That's a good way to distress. Then I was angry because I distressed the wrong side. So I went back. I had to do it again. So here you get a do-over and just see. Oh my goodness. Oh well. You could use it either side, but the side I intended to use was the side I didn't distress. So now I have a choice. Yeah, I know you might be interested in quote unquote like how I made all the other pages other than just this first one, but I don't have video of it because I mean, it's all this. It's all just this. I get something out of the junk journal set. I fold it up. I glue it down. Pockets, you just don't glue it down all 4 sides. If you're making a pocket, you just glue down 3 sides and you leave the one side open. And then I decorate with some flowers or leaves or other junk journal elements. And then I just, tags. You punch a hole. You put the fibers in. There was nothing special that I did. There weren't any odd or new in techniques. But regardless, I hope you enjoyed watching just the basics of how I created this chipboard album. Look at how lovely it turns out in the end. I'm really happy with it. So cool. Yeah, just some chipboard quotes, little metal corners right there. It looks great. So thanks so much for watching. Definitely check out the blog for close-up photos and links to different supplies. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share with one of your crafty friends for sure. It's a great way to support Sandpaper Road. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.